Startup visa, procedural fairness letter. These two terms became almost synonymous for the last 6 months. We already covered it. You can watch our video we dedicated to elimination of peer review process, right? So you can watch that and understand the reason why PFL letters come in more often these days. Well, partially because of peer review removal, but partially because officers have less knowledge, less time to assess your applications. They jump to conclusion very fast, and the reason for that is sometimes beyond their own control, because they charge with multiple cases to resolve within very short period of time. Watch our other videos upcoming regarding backlog reduction. So what we're talking about today is quite significant for many applicants under startup visa stream, if not for all. So PFL, Procedural Fairness Letter, is coming more often these days because officers taking this responsibility, or rather they assume and absorb responsibility given to them by IRCC to judge everything from their own position. Not only legality of the applicants, not only admissibility issues, not only selection of the candidate based on all other background information and data available, but they also trying to implement their limited but obviously powerful knowledge of the process, of industry standards, of certain procedures, and even jumping into conclusion regarding decision made by investors, which is kind of questionable, right? How somebody without proper authority or knowledge of the business can basically decide the future of huge investment made by angel or venture capital company, or even applicants themselves. So with this in mind, you have to understand what Procedural Fairness Letter is. This is the ultimate way for IRCC to reduce backlog, to decide the destiny or basically the fate of the project itself, because they always judge the project when they jump to Procedural Fairness Letter. Very rarely Procedural Fairness Letter related to specific person, unless we're talking about inadmissibility. So you already probably got a sense that Procedural Fairness Letter is divided into categories. One is personal background based, another one is business analysis based. Sometimes they combine it together, but it's very rare. So what if we're talking about personal background based procedural fairness letter? That can cover anything from, for example, personal inadmissibility issues, be it misrepresentation, medical, or financial instability. That sort of thing we call personal, because they related to each and every applicant and his or her family. What if we're talking about business-related procedural fairness letters? Well, those are dedicated to background of the business, origin of idea, relationship between partners in terms of liabilities and responsibilities and duties within the business, how they know each other, how they came up with the idea, how the idea progressed from the idea into application stage, if that. And definitely they would like to see how people participated in development of the business. Not to mention they would like to see participants from Canadian sides as well. Do you have any agreements? Do you have any signed contracts with Canadians? Did you try to recruit some Canadians for your business? So those things are actually, you can argue, and I accept that. You can argue and say, Dr. Alex, listen, it's unfair. Well, nothing is fair in immigration process. It's an immigration officer with ultimate power who decides the fate of your application. So leaving that argument aside, let's go back to the question how to handle PFL. Well, handling PFL is another matter. If you don't have representative, I think that's the last chance for you to hire some lawyer or consultant with reputable experience, track record, what we call it in the industry, and then fight it together, because this is your ultimately last chance to fight before application is refused. So hiring someone, you also have to fit within the time frame allocated by immigration officer. What if they say 30 days? Well, technically speaking, if you don't have enough time to respond, you can ask for extension to respond. There is no guarantee because PFL not actually look favorable in eyes of the officer in terms of extension of response. They technically expect you to be ready at any moment to respond to those questions raised. That's step number one, hiring someone, following timelines. Second, do not assume, and I'm speaking from the practice, and sometimes I hear, Dr. Alex, why would we submit something and then if they need more, they will ask? Well, let me tell you, dear, they will not ask. They will just refuse if they're not satisfied. That's the nature of procedural fairness letter. So when you have one, it's not regular request which can be followed by another request or another inquiry, another clarifying questions. PFL is the ultimate request. That's the mother of nature of this particular application process. So you have to take it seriously. So point number 3, answer in full to the fullest of your ability. We always say, do your very best and we will do the rest and see if we can help you to pass through. And in vast majority of cases, we are able to pass through. We have 1 or 2 cases where we actually file appeal currently, and for the last year, actually for the last 10 years, as far as we serve on the company, on this program in this company. So technically speaking, it's your last chance. Take it seriously. Of course, if you have own experience with PFL, with proceeding, leave your comment below. We would like to hear from you, and definitely share this video with someone you think may benefit from this, and subscribe and stay safe by staying informed.